Another chapter in history, another verse. Trump promises political violence, but no hearse. MTG and Shapiro try to rap, but don't rehearse. These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic like Tez on the golf course. It ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. And thanks for sticking with us through all these years. Another chapter in history, another verse. Trump promises political violence, but no hearse. MTG and Shapiro try to rap, but don't rehearse. These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic like Tez on the golf course. It ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. And thanks for sticking with us through all these years. Another chapter in history, another verse. Trump promises political violence, but no hearse. MTG and Shapiro try to rap, but don't rehearse. These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic like Tez on the golf course. It ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. And thanks for sticking with us through all these years.
Another chapter in history, another verse. Trump promises political violence, but no hearse. MTG and Shapiro try to rap, but don't rehearse. These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic like Tez on the golf course. It ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. We seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. And thanks for sticking with us through all of these years. As we get famous, we give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes.
tuned in to Beltway Radio and Beyond, it can mean one and one only thing. You're tuned in to Chip Chat, minus the host of this show. So if you don't have the host of this show, you have me. Who am I? I'm Tez, because I just told you. What's up, Brian? Yeah. So, you know, it's always a little different when the host isn't here.
True.
No, it's like, exactly like, you know.
Okay, why? Okay.
Why?
No, the way you came in, I don't know if you were here back when, I would say, up in good 70s and early 80s.
I was not here in the early 80s,
okay.
late 80s.
Okay, late 80s. Okay,
Very
so
late.
pretty much you do not know this historical guy here in D.C. So back in the 70s and early 80s, we always had like creature feature, you know, like a lot of shows, you know, back in the day it used to. So we had this guy who portrays himself like this vampire-ish guy.
Oh, no.
I forgot what was his official name.
Dracula.
Yeah, he kind of had a Dracula,
Okay.
but actually he played two different characters. I fully remember him being as Captain 20. So, but
Captain who?
Captain 20, because it was
Captain 20.
Yeah, because on Channel 20 when
Was it UPN then?
Way before
It was
UPN.
just 20.
It was Channel 20. It was, you know, one of those classic independent channels. And so during the afternoon, kids' afternoons, he's Captain 20, and he kind of has this looks like Spock in a sense. You know, Spock's like younger brother.
Okay.
Not Cybok. But during the late Saturday nights, he would dress up as a vampire and, you know, introduce a lot of the creature feature stuff. So the way you sounded, it just sounded just like
What was his name at night?
Let me look it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll Google it.
I obviously sound like this, a vampire, you know. I want to do my best Dracula.
Yes.
Instead of just talking low into the mic, and if you're joining us today, you know, we will bite you. Oh, I not live that one down. That could live on the internet forever.
Okay.
What's his name?
His character name was Count Gore de Vol.
Count Gore de Vol.
Yeah, Count Gore de Vol.
So today, call me Count Gore de Vol.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll bring up a picture.
We'll bring a picture of.
He's classic. So, like I said, at daytime he's Captain 20.
Captain 20 is Captain 20 like Captain America, but like
no, he was more into like a sci-fi character. So
okay, got it.
So like I said, he kind of dressed up like Spock's younger brother.
Got it.
So,
okay.
But yeah, this is what Count Gore de Vol.
All right, we're sitting here right now waiting to see if we get Count Gore.
Yes.
What was his last name? Duval?
Yeah, Duval.
Oh God,
D-O-L.
Count Gore Duval.
Yeah, so this is him.
Oh God. Is he holding? Is that the cobra on a noose? I don't know what that is. What is the noose?
Chicken.
Oh, it's a chicken on the noose. Okay, a rubber chicken, I assume, on a noose.
Yes.
All right, Goro Duval.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, that is a very interesting tangent, and that's what happens when you
don't have your host.
Yeah, you don't have
who
your host.
Randomly talk about, we're gonna deal with Trump again.
I know exactly.
Exactly.
Right?
Issues in the Ukraine or issues in Gaza and
exactly,
and then trouble with everybody else. So
all right.
but we also got raccoons and
yes, we do have.
And this is let's see.
Let's
we can do
yes.
this. We have a world premiere video.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, there we go.
Old school. We're doing old school MTV.
Okay.
World premiere video featuring Alex Jones.
Ah, yes. Perfect. You know, nothing that I laugh and giggle at more than a man who thinks that children getting killed in a school was a false flag operation. So yes, guys, I know I will be in hell, and I'll see y'all there at the bar, and I'll be drinking Fireball when we get there. Again, we keep going back to the point that Chip isn't here, so we'll keep filibustering until he gets here. Yes. You know, I enjoy talking, so this isn't really hard for me. I do also enjoy not talking sometimes, you know, just kind of filling in, and this show allows me to do that.
Yes.
Kind of crazy. It's kind of a flip tonight. Usually I'm walking in here with 1 minute to spare, 2 minutes to spare, and have read the show one time. One thing is still true in that statement I said.
Yes.
Since I read the show one time.
All right.
Shout out to McDonald's. That's not one of our sponsors, but if you want to throw us a sponsorship, we'd love it.
I love it.
Mick, right? Loving it. McCrispy, elite
Did you get for $1?
Hell, come on, man. McDonald's and a dollar.
Because
yeah, it's over with. Those is dead. We got to pay them workers.
No. What I'm saying, because since even though DC United got their ass whooped last night, they scored a goal, so they pretty much said it's like they would only cost $1 if you order something else.
Interesting. Okay, all right. That's how you get $1 meal now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you
not
have
really, but you got to order something else. But
well, I have the McDonald's app. I don't know if you do. So,
I don't.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So you get through the McDonald's app, and no, we're not promoting or sponsoring, but the thing is just, if you live in the D.C. area and support D.C. United and all that stuff, so. But actually, speaking of soccer, I believe Chip is rushing in here shortly. Yep, I hear the door.
Oh, there's the door.
I hear the epic final match of the year.
Oh, it's here.
Happening.
It is here, yeah. Obviously, Manchester United is shit. Excuse me. Manchester City is very well funded, and cheating. And
look at this island.
Oh, and look who jumps in.
I don't like the gay frogs.
He'll have a treat when he listens back to this show.
No,
you already listening
one
to
of
the
the
show.
joys of live radio is that I can hear it.
That is true. I forgot we're on the internet.
We're stuck on the damn beltway. Whoever
And
named
beyond.
the radio station after that monstrosity is a crazy person.
A crazy person. Welcome.
Hi.
You're here.
Who am I?
You're Chip, because I just told you.
There you go.
All right, this is
It's
both
very
of those.
confusing.
Everything is thrown off.
We were doing a lot. You were doing a lot.
It's okay,
Brian was reminiscing
exactly. He was talking. Brian was like,
about what WDCA.
Yeah. Yes.
That
yes.
was the real
That is what it
call-outs.
is. WDCA. Interest.
Yeah.
That is. I think that was. WDCA definitely still feels like familiar to me on that. I don't know why.
They didn't become like a UPN until much later.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then
I feel like that was like one of the stations.
or maybe
if you're,
WDCA was channel 50. Was that their call sign?
No,
I can't remember. That
Channel
was
50
channel 20, wasn't it?
no, WDCA was Channel 20. The WB50 was.
Yeah, but
Channel
before they were WB, they were like WDCW or something like that.
Yeah, it was some weird call-outs for them.
All I know is
They
my
were an independent station.
all I
too.
know is my TV with an antenna, and it had the thing you could flip. I have UHF to whatever.
UHF and VHF.
VHF. My TV.
Very high frequency, ultra high frequency.
That's what it is. Okay, gotcha. Yes,
Yeah.
one of my first TVs as a child was one of those. So
We had a Zenith.
ooh, nice.
That's fancy.
Oh, I just want to give Tez a look at the famed Captain 20.
Give me Captain
So,
20.
Let's see what it looks like. You showed the. Oh yeah.
So,
See WDCA.
Yeah.
Look at that. What a pull.
Wow.
sorry
Okay.
for that. So,
Turns out some of us can remember things.
Hey,
Barely.
barely.
and for those who are watching, it was in black and white. So yes, I remember 1972, 3, 4, 5. Even though it was only 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Brian had graduated high school just the year before.
Yes.
You got teenage TV. That is insane. Like TV isn't just born yet; it's like a teenager at that point. 70s, yeah.
Yeah, like mid to late 70s TV was a wild west of crazy
Yeah.
shit, including the Star Wars Christmas special,
That never happened.
which
Oh,
didn't
wow.
happen, except that it did happen. And if you know somebody, you can get a VHS of this and see it.
Oh, that's like that movie that they didn't put out. What's the movie that they didn't drop that everybody wants to see?
Batgirl?
It's not Batgirl. They did.
Coyote
it's
versus-
the-
Oh yeah, that one.
No, this
Wiley-
actually aired,
Oh
Yeah.
but then was buried afterwards.
wow.
Because it was so.
Because it
bad.
was awful. And there's all this lore around it, and the only copies that exist are things that, like, people didn't have VCRs, and
Right.
they weren't ubiquitous
Yeah,
yet.
hell no.
And so, like, a few people taped this. They happened to be recording, or they knew to record it, or whatever, and then it kind of got bootlegged and shared around, and maybe there's clips of it here and there. But the Lucas people have done a really good job of
Just
trying to
getting
go
it out of
after it
there.
and stop it. Yeah.
I can only imagine now with Mickey Mouse behind our list. There's
Well,
no way
that was
we're ever
before
gonna see. I
they
know
had
what I'm
Mickey
saying.
Mouse.
Now
Now they got-
it'll
now
never.
they got the mouse.
If God forbid it comes
Yeah.
out, they might target your home.
The only analog I have to this is, again, way off topic, but was the day I woke up and saw the Honda commercial for the MLK Drive Away sale. And then I immediately started to try to look. I would tell people about this, and they didn't believe me. And I tried to look it up, and there's very scant evidence of this happening on the internet. But I remember this happening, and there's a few things that'll corroborate it. Just to set the idea, you know, in this country, we celebrate our dead soldiers with things like mattress sales.
Yeah.
Because this is America, and that's what we do. Memorial Day's coming up, by the way.
It is coming up.
But there's certain holidays that we don't have mattress sales on.
Correct.
One of them is MLK.
Yeah.
Now, some stores have sales on that weekend,
But it's not
but
branded.
they don't advertise it as such. So one day, I woke up. It had to have been after 2013 because we were living in the house. I woke up and I came downstairs. I turned on the news, and I see this ad for like Honda dealerships, and it's the MLK Drive Away event. And they're showing this Accord carving through the mountains of God knows where, and I am not making this up,
This MLK Day.
playing organ church gospel music in the background with singers
Oh, no.
telling everybody to come out and you know, celebrate and drive away in their new Honda.
The only way it could be more cringeworthy if it was, instead of like Honda, it was like Coons Ford.
Yeah. Right, which is also simple. If you're not from Virginia or DC, this
Yeah,
is
that
not gonna
kind of
make any
sounds
sense.
so crazy.
It sounds awful. I had the presence of mind to hit record, and I got like a snippet of this. It's long since
Right,
gone,
of
but
course.
my notes, Byron Donald's trying to replace Eric as son number 2. How did that go?
Why don't you love me anymore?
Yeah.
Grad-
We're going to talk about that. I like the coordinated outfits, though. It's a nice touch.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
try.
We have more sad Israel updates, of course.
Of
Trump
course,
trials,
can't do anything about it.
featuring everybody's favorite scumbag lawyer, Michael Cohen.
Hey, he's a reformed scumbag.
He's trying.
He's trying his best.
He's trying his best. He realized he did a very bad thing. Let's see. Graduations are supposed to be happening this time of year, maybe. There's Maryland news, namely that they crash their cars on the Beltway all the time and can't drive. Maryland.
Hey,
there's a-
talk to your senator.
Maybe about to get a new one. We are going to get a
Right,
new one.
we are getting a new one.
Depends which one it's going to be.
Woo!
Yeah, the race is going to be a tough one. Tougher than it should be. I think she's still going to win.
Should, yes.
But people like Larry Hogan.
a lot, but yes,
A lot of people
like Larry Hogan.
Yeah,
Because what he was juxtaposed against in his... Anyways, we'll get there.
we'll get to that. All right, and there's going to be like double rundown. Also, Joy from Scranton kicks things up a notch. We're going to talk about the debate challenge.
Jesus Christ, they're kind of upending things. Like, this is...
Don't worry, I have a solution.
Don't like this.
Yeah, I'm
much.
sure you can't wait. Also, updates from last week's show, which I just finished listening to on the way up. When we said that Kristi Noem was going to get badder and stupider because she made up a story about meeting with Kim Jong-un, how much worse could it get? It did get worse. So remind me to tell you the next installment of Kristi Noem Makes Shit Up.
Lord.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
French
God.
this time.
Ah,
Yeah, and we're going to make you explain the Supreme Court.
my favorite.
This is going to be a tough one. This is a
This will
pickle.
be- this is gonna be a pickle.
Decided, yes, today.
Yes, today, yeah.
We got the CFPB
Yep.
and Louisiana. So, interesting. CFPB
Yeah.
saved.
What
By
do they
none
call it?
other.
Yeah.
The
Textu-
neighbor Clarence.
Textualist, right? That's what
It's a
what they-
rough one there.
it's-
Okay. So there you go. Now you're all caught up for me being late.
There it is. And look,
We're sort of on
God,
time.
I looked up, thought it was a
You
4.
did a great job.
I tried, I tried my best.
You were
My
good.
2003, 2004 self is probably looking at me like, why do you have a picture of Liz Cheney?
Yeah, why do you have this book about Liz Cheney?
Because it's her
Thought
book, it's
she's
Oath
a-
of Honor.
Warmongering crazy person.
She is.
She's that.
But she
also-
wants to do it
Democratically.
with votes, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
vote to bomb people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When I read this, I read it kind of in her voice. It's very
Yeah, you can hear- you
I
can hear her, yeah.
I can. It's very crazy I can hear her January 6th.
And it's in J6 cadence, though,
Yes,
isn't it? It's that
exactly.
slow, very measured,
Yeah.
almost like snarling through her teeth
Yeah,
kind of sound.
it's-
yeah.
yeah.
Does the book drip with anger? Or
No.
is that just a thing you can hear?
You
when
can
you
hear
read
it doesn't drip. It's very matter of
dry
fact.
underneath,
It's
okay.
very matter of
Just
fact.
checking. See
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
literally dripping with anger.
Yeah.
Or the blood of somebody that she shot in the face. That's her dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on the back of the book.
Oh, is he on the back? There he is. 3 hearts later.
What a dick.
One of them's a human. Oh, get the bell. I ring my own bell last week. It's terrible. So much work.
Sorry.
Do you have your word now that we got all that? He's thinking.
I'm thinking. I have a word.
Okay. I've got a word.
Okay.
We're going to see if it works.
Maybe.
So, sit back, grab some.
Lines.
It's sycophant time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps. Because we want to, again, hear people.
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip.
No, we can't.
With me is Ted, speaking of people we don't agree with.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how much of that y'all heard. but
Hopefully
hey,
not that much.
Yeah. We're back.
Yo,
Okay.
I don't know much about this story that's coming up. It flashed across, and I have not looked into it.
Well, it's gonna matter a lot.
Yes, of course. I mean,
it's moving fast. Unlike Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico. That's how you pronounce it. It's not FICO like your credit score. It's Fico.
Fico
Yeah, spelled FICO.
tried to murder.
Somebody tried to murder him. So here's what happened. There is this guy called Robert Fico. He was just won the prime minister, or his party won the control of government parliamentary system there in Slovakia. So he is the now prime minister. He has been prime minister of Slovakia several times. He started out as a Communist Party member.
Of course.
He's, in Slovakia. He's always been a very anti-American politician. Over the years, he's morphed into this sort of ultra-nationalist. He's pretty buddy-buddy with Putin.
Yeah.
He's very intent on keeping Slovakia and, if he could, all of Europe out of the Ukraine war, because he doesn't think that it matters, and he thinks Russia's fine, and he doesn't care. He also likes
Go back to old days.
Yes, exactly. Remember that the Russians rolled through Slovakia on their way to Prague.
Yeah.
Didn't meet with a lot of resistance.
No, at all.
So he also is known for imprisoning journalists, maybe having them killed. A little up for debate.
Still a communist.
Well, still an authoritarian, I think, is sort of more the thing. He is still very much that he is a believer in this sort of big government protecting the little guy kind of thing.
The flip of this.
It's the economic socialist, totalitarian autocrat sort of thing, which might play well in some places. But he hates America, and he hates foreigners, and he hates Muslims, and and he loves Putin. So basically, no Slovak is like meh about him. You either love this guy or you hate this guy.
Right.
So they've got an arrest. I think that the guy they arrested is 71 years old.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and he's apparently was really pissed off at this guy, and they say he acted alone. He got 5 shots off. Fizzo is in recovery in the hospital. They spent basically all day and night doing surgery on him, and he's in stable, bad condition, but he's conscious. So the big worry right now in Slovakia, which everybody needs to remember, is a European democracy, member of NATO, member of EU, is like a real country, used to be part of a bigger country. If you're my age or older, you're still not good with there being Czech Republic and Slovakia. Right. You're thinking Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
But they've been 2 separate countries now for 30 years. So,
which is insane. Yeah,
it's crazy, right? Why don't people just go back to how they were? Turn to the frogs game. So, anyway, we do wish him a speedy recovery because
you don't need this type of thing yet.
Right. And so there is a lot of call from various political entities within the EU, even, from the U.S. Putin sent his, like well wishes and all of that. Medvedev was all like, oh, yeah, Fizzo's a great guy, always look out for Mother Russia. He was,
comrade.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's a lot of push amongst the party bosses isn't the right word, but party like leaders. No, not the apparatus. The leaders to say, all right, clearly we've crossed the line. We need to tone down the rhetoric. We've all been calling each other the enemy for too long. This is what it leads to.
So they saying that this 70. So that is just similar to other countries like our
Fizzo's
own.
party and the opposition are both trying to turn down the rhetoric a little bit here in the wake of this, because it got all the way to an assassination attempt for them to stop calling each other the enemy of the people.
Never thought we could learn from
the communists.
Yeah, what?
Those godless communists.
Hey, we might need to chill out. Someone almost got killed. Here's like, people got killed. Whatever.
Yeah, so they're not American. They're not used to gun crime in the way that we are.
That's true.
And,
I guess it's very shocking and scary
It's
to them.
a little weird.
For the rest of us, we're like, what do you mean?
How did
you guys have been shooting presidents for years.
Yeah. To be clear, their president is fine. It was their prime minister.
Prime minister, excuse me.
So you have to be careful about that.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a parliamentary system.
You've been your leader. You've been shooting your leaders for years.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's the update from Slovakia. You need to keep an eye on this. We don't have a lot more information now, but this is one of those things that you do need to watch. Speaking of updates, here's the update on Kristi Noem. She told everybody that she had a meeting with Macron scheduled, but that he canceled it. That was also in the book. When the French finally got around to reading the book, they're French. Takes them a little while to get around to things. They're busy laying around, doing nothing, smoking cigarettes, whatever they do.
Life.
Yeah. Making no money. Idiots.
Rest.
They were like, oh, yeah, by the way, no, that didn't happen. We have no record of this at all. Right. And she's making that up, too.
She 3 for 3?
Yeah. Well, shot the dog.
Well, she did actually shoot the dog.
That she did. Then she made up Kim Jong-un, and now she made up Macron.
I heard that they tried something else. She tried to talk about shooting this dog, and the editors were like, no, you can't publish. Like, we're not going to do this.
Well, she had enough editorial control to force them to put that in, but not enough to take the Kim Jong-un thing out. Can't have it both ways, Kristi Noem.
What did I hear? What did I hear? I'm pretty sure this is on 1A. They were saying that she's trying to actively not become a vice president.
Yeah, that might be the case.
It could be.
Yeah, she realized
that is insane.
What almost happened to the last guy.
She would like to say you kill dogs in this country.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
like just blatantly like.
Well, if the last guy almost got killed.
Yeah.
The first thing if you don't want to end up meeting cricket in the afterlife, don't become Trump's VP. Just saying. You always do that during that story. What is going on with this? You're 2 for 2.
And look, it's just a coincidence.
Dynamite radio.
That's just a coincidence every time. No. Yeah, this lady is insane. This lady is insane. She had, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? That I believe.
Yeah.
Because what else could it be? Like, if you want, like, you just could be, you don't have to say anything.
There had to be some adult in the room who was like, yo, you can't print this. And she was like,
print it
yeah,
anyways.
damn the torpedoes. Print that shit.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll kill my dog again if I have to.
After you're dead from being vice president. In
Oh
the
my
afterlife,
God.
You know.
So speaking of somebody who is kind of already in the afterlife,
Walking Dead.
he is that.
Oh my God, she just rips it very early in this.
Just goes after Rudy.
Yeah, just when
Is it gratuitous? Because like beating up on Rudy, which
No.
we're about to do, I'm just going to be clear,
of course, but
is easy, low-hanging fruit.
no, it's just very calm, and she just talks through when he goes on TV right in front of what are the Four
Seasons.
and
Landscaping company.
landscaping company, and she's just like talking about, like, she punctuates the hair dye dripping like at the end of like a paragraph, and it's just kind of a very good dismount. And I'm just like, again,
Look, Liz Cheney has a lot of things going for her. She
A
is
lot.
very smart.
Beyond,
She's
yeah.
clearly got, you know, a bit of the dry humor thing, which her father had too. I must
hell yeah,
add.
hell yeah.
If she hadn't fallen down the wrong side of the mountain,
Yeah.
she'd be on this show.
She was born that way. She can't really. What do
but,
you expect?
People make recoveries.
No way in hell. Not from this.
Not
family.
from a Cheney family.
No,
No, I
it's
get
too good
I
over there.
suppose that. But like
So nice, you know how nice it might be. It must be over there. Oh no,
Wyoming royalty?
right? Well, actually, can she even go back there now?
No.
Oh, sorry.
They took away all of her bison.
I know who might have a word about that.
Shansley. All right, so Rudy. You remember Rudy?
Yeah, of course.
He's the guy who
yes.
melted on television.
He was also America's mayor.
He
Don't
was
forget.
America's mayor who
Don't
killed all
forget.
the homeless people.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you know, one of those. There's a square state called Arizona. You've heard of Arizona?
Yes.
Factors a lot in this election stuff.
rapidly changing demographics.
Growing
Also,
like crazy in
we
Phoenix.
will see huge investment from the CHIPS Act.
Yes,
Huge.
And we last 2 weeks ago, I think it was, we talked about that the Arizona
Yes, yeah.
AG finally filed charges on all of these people for election fuckery, for lack of a better word.
That could work.
All of the forgery, the fake electors, the various things that were very illegal and that they're proud of doing and admitted to live on television all over the damn place, in emails and to each other constantly. And we talked about how there was conspicuously one person not on the indictment list, which was Cheese Bro.
Yeah.
Because the Cheese Bro has turned state's evidence clearly, and that is how he's going to try to save his career of melting on hamburgers. So that's a very inside joke.
Very inside.
But Rudy is on the list. He has been indicted. And so, you know, one of the things that happens when you get indicted is you get a summons. And the police come try to serve you the summons, and it says, hey, you need to come show up at, the courthouse and appear for your arraignment.
It's kind of how the rule of law works.
It is kind of how the rule of law works. So they went to New York. Now, one of the things about Rudy is that in his post trying to overturn the government career, he has to do something for money because, as you remember, he owes those two wonderful women in Georgia about $1 billion, which he does not have.
Doesn't have any money.
He has no money. So he did the show on WABC in this like live stream podcast fake radio show. Wonder where he got the idea. So the WABC show actually is over now because after this, they cut him. They finally canceled him. All the other stuff they were fine with. Now they're like, now they got to cut him. So what the agents who were trying to summons him did was they watched his show to figure out where he was because it's live and they could tell where he's filming from. And so they waited and they knew that he was at the place in New York and they tried to serve him with the thing and he wouldn't come to the door. And
Of course.
The
Well,
buil-
didn't the doorman involved
yeah,
in this?
yeah, the front desk basically wouldn't let them up.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't accept the summons and all that stuff.
Which is, you know what's going to happen next.
Well, so then they sort of watched to see like where else he was going to go. They saw that he went to Florida. They tried to make a little run at serving him in Florida. But here's the thing that you got to remember, Rudy, who I know watches this show.
Of course.
The summons is a courtesy. They're being nice.
Yeah.
They're offering you the chance to come and turn yourself in.
Because again, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. So no
Right.
one's going to come yank you up. We've offered you a very polite
Offered
way.
you a chance to come and,
You've been
handle
summoned.
this
You
like,
go.
Grown adults. Well, Rudy doesn't want to be a grown adult. So instead, what is going to happen is he's going to have an arrest warrant out for him, and they're going to come and snatch his ass wherever he is, and the doorman ain't going to be able to stop him because they're going to be walking in there holding a warrant that says, we are here for this man. Can't be right. This guy, Rudy, we're here for Rudy. Give us Rudy or else. And if they go, no, they're going to be like, all right, boys, Waco time. And bam, they're going to get him.
Yes.
So we have compiled a very short list of where they should go look for Rudy in case they can't find him. You want to hit the first one?
Yes, first one. Number one, any landscaping company that also has a name close to that of a major hotel chain.
Yes, so he's hanging out at Holiday Inn Landscaping.
Or like Ritz and Carlton's landscape.
Yeah. Next best place to look for Rudy, Ted's Discount Scotch Emporium, now with 3 stores in Secaucus.
Where the replays go.
Yeah. Also, funny word.
A very funny word.
Three stores.
It's good.
It's good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
The Norm joke.
Now, number 3, on the phone with himself as a reporter, he butt dialed.
Yeah.
That's wow.
So that's a famous thing about Rudy is that he had 3 phones.
Right.
There's this great story that Nutzi wrote about him a few years ago when she was working for the New Yorker about spending this day with him of him, fumbling around through his phone. And then he butt dialed her while he was criming. And more than once.
Crazy.
Kept calling her up. And,
Stop calling me.
No, she would.
Of
She
course,
let it
report,
run and
yeah,
write it
'cause it's
down
rare,
because
but-
she's a news reporter and that's her job. And she got some great information. It's really funny stuff. But he kept doing it, so
Dumb.
Well, yeah, you just track the signal. Of course, the last place to go look for him is hiding out in one of Steve Bannon's extra shirts. Yeah,
Mr.
it fits right in there,
Triple shirt.
just tucked in there
That's such a weird style.
in the buttonhole. Yeah. Speaking of Bannon,
Mm.
woo. So you
The
may
Bannon.
remember there's a thing called rule of law. We keep talking about it on the show.
Well, not many people remember it, but
Half
it's
this
still
country
here.
remembers it.
Yeah, it's better than not have.
And the way that it's supposed to go is if you get a subpoena or some sort of other legal thing that says you need to appear and answer our questions, you got to do it. And if you don't do it, you go to jail. That's the, sort of, I don't know, penalty to not cooperating
Yeah.
in a society where we don't hang people for not cooperating.
Yeah.
Okay, so Congress wanted to talk to Bannon and Navarro and a bunch of other people, and they sent him a subpoena, and he was like, no. And they're like, you can't no. It's a subpoena. You have to show up. And he's like, no. So they're like, well, then you're in contempt. Bam, contempt.
Oh, another one.
He appeals that, goes to court. They go, oh, yeah, you definitely didn't show up for the subpoena. The subpoena was lawful. That's contempt. You got to go to jail. And he's like, no. And he appealed it. And again. And so
Why do you
that,
keep appealing contempt.
well, because he doesn't want to go to jail.
But I'm saying, what's the ground?
On what grounds?
I was sick.
His current
What did he say?
argument is he was advised by his lawyers that the subpoena wasn't valid. Don't worry.
It's a terrible.
The appeals court on Friday said, oh, no, you're guilty. You have to go to jail now.
What are we talking about? What do you mean? It's fraudulent. Anyways, it's insane.
So in March, Navarro, of course, he's in the clink currently.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out, saying that jail is mean and scary and hard for him, and he's old and doesn't like it, which is all true. But hey, buddy, do the crime, do the time. I mean, and this isn't one of those things where there's some gray area. You had a lot of opportunity to get out of this, and you just didn't do it. Bannon fought his contempt conviction forcefully as he fought the initial charges during a brief trial in federal district court in Washington back in 2022. That proceeding was a spectacle, with the defendant delivering heated speeches outside the courthouse and promising in the days before it began to go medieval on the prosecutors who had brought the case. But currently, in a 20-page ruling, a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals of the District of Columbia Circuit swept those arguments aside and said, no, you're guilty. He said that he was following advice of counsel. The panel wrote that even if Mr. Bannon's lawyers had told him not to comply with the committee, the advice could not excuse him for having willfully and intentionally ignored the subpoena. This exact, quote, advice of counsel defense is no defense at all, the judges wrote. I had to include that because it's like...
It's insane. Like,
Bannon's not a lawyer. He doesn't know any better, but... No. No.
How are you even... Like, I guess their job is to appeal these things, and but it doesn't even... it's a waste of time. I guess it's delay
I'm
tactic.
surprised they can find lawyers willing to sign on to these things and file them in court, because they know. Now, look, lawyers sign on to represent all kinds of reprehensible things all the time. That is their job.
The way this shit, it has to work.
It has to work. People have to have representation, even if they're dead wrong, and even if they're the worst kind of people on the planet, which includes both categories of Steve Bannon.
Both.
However, those lawyers, man, how do they...
And you're not getting paid.
They're not going to get paid. And, they're going to go see their other lawyer buddies like the next week, at that bar that they always hang out at Law and Order. And Sam Waterston's going to walk up to them and be like, yo, what were you doing? It's just a paycheck, man. Like, doesn't ethics mean anything to you? Nah, not anymore. No. And then they're going to drink, all of Rudy's scotch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they might have left. They can't get paid in anything else.
They can't get paid in money.
What the hell, scotch? I guess that works.
You know who's been drinking scotch?
Who?
Trump's pilots.
Oh, God.
So you may remember that Donald Trump owns an airplane.
Yes, a big one.
Or at least something connected to him owns this airplane.
Something.
It's a big airplane. It's a 757.
Yeah, it's insane. It's not like a... Look at the little... Look at your little private jet there versus this Trump jumbo jet.
It's not a jumbo. It's a
not?
narrow body. So a 757 is a large aircraft.
It's a lot comparative to this little, whatever this private jet is.
It mostly serves in routes, at least for us, coming out of National. There's 257 flights a day. One goes to Denver, one goes to San Francisco.
That's far.
It's far.
That's across, San Francisco goes across the country.
Yeah, but a 37 can make that flight too. It's that a 57 can carry 250 people. It's a lot.
Or overweight president.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got this plane. It landed there in Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm Beach International, sorry.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, pretty close.
A lot of people are
Slightly different airport code, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, Florida.
It's Florida. They didn't hear you.
Or not.
So, so his plane lands, and it's taxiing over. So it safely landed, taxiing over to its hangar, and it clips the wings of this other smaller plane that's parked there, not moving.
Oh,
so
wow.
it hit a not moving, it crashed into a parked car. That's what his, yeah. Now, I hate to say this, to be fair, which I say on the show a lot, I went back and checked, these kind of things happen a lot.
Yeah. Actually,
fender benders at airports happen all the time.
Lately, we've been we have a couple, near misses.
We don't talk about stuff. Well, yeah,
we don't talk about these near misses but that's all different.
About to have more because they just added 5 more flights to National, despite the vociferous protestation of the entire delegation of Maryland and Virginia. But the rest of Congress doesn't want to have to schlep all the way from Dulles, so they keep adding things to National.
Two airports, BWI and Dulles, that are equipped to do what they needed to do. There's the rest. Don't worry.
National is the busiest airport.
It's insane
in the country by like total flights in compressed time, the amount of time per runway, and it also has the most delays of any airport in the country per runway because it's only got the 2 runways and only one of them can be active at a time because they cross each other, and there's no room for more flights. So stop this. They don't live here. They don't. I
get it.
So anyway, his plane clipped the other plane. And no word whether he was on the plane or not at the time. I'm going to say yes. That's probably why it was leaning to that side. But anyway, there you go. That's the first part of the rundown.
All right. The fun stuff's out the way.
Yeah. You want to take a break?
Please.
Yeah, we're going to need one because the next thing is not going to be fun.
Oh, but
wait.
I have something. So leading into the break.
Oh, are you going to play the premiere now?
Yes.
All right.
It's best to do it now. It's perfect.
I thought you were going to use it after that one as a palate cleanser.
No.
All right.
So,
Well, now, without further ado, Brian is premiering for us a brand new Alex Jones music video, and we get to watch Tez watch it. You're listening to ChipChat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
It's your boy Chub the Don, Big Dolan.
It's your boy, Big Tuber.
And it's your boy, Eddie Lutz telling us, we got a song for you.
Every day 1984 with the World Economic Forum. Did I forget to mention social credits implementing the score? If you're kicked out, then you poor. Card getting declined at the store. They got us divided and fighting, distracting us from the war. Poisoning our food and our water, confusing our sons and our daughters. YOLO, nothing and be happy, convincing you less is more. Controlling the population, creating an impatient nation. Have you complacent in place in a trusting government agency? What George Orwell had written today is no longer fiction. They implemented a system that put us all in a prison. Watch weed and bugs in a pod, not taking care of your body. No religion and worshiping government and not God.
We don't love you no more, Big Brother. We can't trust you no more. They keep on pulling and pushing until they all end up wishing, and now we can't take no more. Big Brother, every day 1984.
Government tracking our phones, everything we eat GMO. They got us all driving electric control everywhere that you go. I ain't riding with Biden and I ain't trusting Trudeau. But in fact, all these politicians, the web placed around the globe. Taxing our carbon emissions, they don't want you guarding your children. They don't want you having no knowledge, they want us all in the prison. Gender confusing the youth, their agenda is proof. I don't trust these fact checkers every time they censor the truth. How we overpopulated if our birth rate is freaking. Go ahead, ignore your instincts, morals right down the sink. All the freedoms that you thought you had, they're gone in a blink. Sir, you're under arrest, you've had too much to think.
Big Brother, we don't love you no more. Big Brother, we can't trust you no more. They keep on pulling and pushing until they all end up wishing, and now we can't take no more. Big Brother, every day 1984.
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there.
What the fuck was that?
Hello.
This is your... I mean, I'm proud of you, Brian, for finding that and sitting through it long enough to know to play it for us, but...
Never play that again.
No. That was bad.
Oh, there's more.
There's
There's
more.
So each week there'll be every new episode. There will be like.
Are you making these with ChatGPT?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't...
I have gotten lost.
Won't you fight for your lives? This is bad.
This is bad. And again, I would almost give it a pass to your point if the people. This is why you need humans
Yeah.
who actually know how to write things that are funny
Yeah,
and
people...
cut things up with a human. That was very disturbing.
It's...
You know,
okay.
actually, you picked the right friggin' song to play before we go into this. Like, because now I'm in a... I don't know how you set the mood.
Yeah.
This is terrible. What did I just watch? You don't love you no more. What the fuck? Big brother.
The hook is atrocious.
It's so bad.
But also, like... Did they write it with thinking about how bad Tuckums would be at rhyming? Because maybe that's right.
When he did go first.
He's bad.
It's very bad.
That's your lead off? Is Tuckums?
Yo. Okay, you're not on base.
Also,
I don't know if you're even I don't even know if your base will like this.
I don't know.
No, this is
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is what they think is the hippity hop. Also, I gotta say, I don't like it that you didn't let Alex get a verse.
Yeah.
You know, that's our guy. We got to take up for him a little bit.
To be honest, yeah, that would be
Like you just left him on the hook.
insane.
He's the Nate Dogg to your Warren G.
That's good. I demand leftist ass somehow.
I bet you do.
I demand it
To cheer you up.
in the show to rectify what has just happened here. It's
This
insane.
hate crime that
Hate-
Brian has perpetrated against
The
us
hell?
and our listeners.
There's good songs out there.
Yeah.
Yo, the Turbo Force.
Yeah. Yeah. We need that.
Yo, anything.
Play the hits, Brian.
Yo, what the hell?
Oh, Lord.
Big brother. All right. Oh my God. Yo, moving
Okay.
the fuck on.
Moving on.
Oh God. Yeah. Somber face.
Let's get on to the updates from Israel. So there's a lot. This is a fast moving situation. Last week we talked about that we're either on the edge of an absolute bloodbath of an assault on Rafah or a ceasefire.
One or two.
It has clearly been choice number one.
Number one. Yeah.
At last count, 600,000 people have been moved out in the past couple of days, crowded into another space around Khan Yunis where they did not have any space in the first place. The assault on Rafah is ongoing. There are airstrikes ongoing. There is tank and artillery fire ongoing. But also ongoing is Hamas has regrouped up north around Gaza City and Jabalia. They are attacking Israeli positions. The Israelis are firing back at them. Hamas has regrouped enough that they are back to hucking rockets into southern Israel.
Yeah.
So Bibi's plan of militarily wiping out the resistance is failing. That's kind of the story.
Yeah.
But the real story is who is saying that Bibi's plan is failing.
Yeah.
And that's none other than Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. He
That's
said
kind of
publicly,
wild. Yeah.
this is the guy who's in charge of the war,
Yeah.
said, we need a plan for the day after. And Netanyahu keeps saying there can't be a day after until Hamas is destroyed. And Gallant is saying, what everybody else has been saying, what do you mean destroyed? This doesn't work. They're recruiting at will. They've got an unlimited supply of recruits at this point, and nothing that the Netanyahu government is doing looks anything like real solutions, and it isn't going to ever get the buy-in from the rest of the world, and specifically not from the Arab world, because it's not legitimate.
Right.
It doesn't look like he has any end game in sight at all. It's just to continue this endless bombardment of the people of Gaza.
Because again, we know what happens when this comes to an end. He
goes to jail.
Yeah, he comes to an end. This time it will actually happen.
It will actually happen.
Yeah.
That's part of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got the fracturing within the Netanyahu government, within even the war cabinet, which should not be happening.
That should not be it, yeah.
Part of that fracturing has to do with the nutso settler guys that are part of the government, specifically this guy who's called Ben Gvir. That's his last name.
Yes.
I can't say his first name. It's hard.
It is
for me. I should even be able to say it, and I'm not. It's not even Hebrew. It's something. And then there's this guy Smodrich, who's also awful. Something Tomir Ben Gvir. I don't know. It's some Russian name that got translated.
Itamar Ben Gvir?
Itamar. There you go. It's not a Hebrew name.
That is not a Hebrew name.
Anyway, these guys are holding rallies in Sderot, which is the border town that the Hamas is hucking rockets into. It's right on the northern edge of the Gaza Strip. They're talking about rebuilding Israeli settlements in Gaza. They want to occupy Gaza. I heard an interview with some of the people there. There was a lady from Queens who had, made Aliyah, move to Israel, become a citizen there. And the reporters were like, where should these 2 million people go? And she's like, they can go anywhere. There's lots of countries that'll take them. They can go anywhere, but they can't be here. And it was like,
it's expensive to live in Queens now.
Yeah, what do you mean they can't be here? And she's like, they want to kill us, so they can't be here. And I'm like, what do you think they think about you?
I think though that in this country, a lot of times you say that a lot of things are real estate plays. This could be this could be a very interesting one that I don't think it's smart because your real estate is going to get
It's going to come at the price of genocide.
Exactly.
This is all right. So Biden already said you're not getting any of the big bombs.
Right.
Which fine. They don't need the big bombs. They can still rain terror down with smaller bombs. He did continue the other weapons transfers. As we've explained on this program before, there are very legitimate reasons to continue these weapons transfers.
It's not going to stop. It's a policy. It's been a policy of this country since the end of
It's hard to describe to Americans or anybody listening really that there's a difference of the types of weapons, okay? But there are differences in weapons. You know what a gun looks like, right? You've fired a gun before. I've fired guns before. It's lots of fun. Have you ever fired a fighter jet at anything? No. Or driven a tank? No. Or pushed a button on a missile battery? No. No. Those are
a bazooka.
Wildly different weapons than a pistol or a rifle.
Yeah.
So there's differences in weapons. But the transfers are still going on. This is being difficultly sorted out. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Hezbollah picked up their activity. They're striking targets 20 miles into Israel now. The Israelis are striking back. That side of the war has been mostly kind of, let's all keep it level. Been about 250 Israeli soldiers died so far in the campaign in Gaza. That's a high number for this fighting force. Keep in mind that everybody in Israel serves, so except for the ultra-Orthodox, who are the ones who start all these fucking wars. Losses of soldiers are felt very deeply by the population. Everybody gets called up. Everybody gets sent back to their units. You know, one day you're working in your flower shop, and the next day you're back in your tank in Gaza. There are protests in the streets. Netanyahu can't hold this together. I don't know what to say. I have been trying to straddle this line for the whole time, but at this point, Biden's got to just tell him this is it. You're done. You can't do this. Too many warnings, too many things, conditional statements about if you do this in Rafah, it's going to be okay, but if you do that, it's not going to be okay. Push the button and ground the airplanes immediately. Do that now. The Pentagon can do that. They can push a button and make all the F-35s return to base and land. That exists. You don't think it does, but it does.
I don't think you can. That should be the answer, right? That just should easily be the answer at this point. But I know it's not going to be that.
You ready for it to get worse?
Not really. I mean, how many more people?
Oh, it gets worse.
How many more people do you?
So we need.
It's not. And I think the thing that's very disturbing is that they keep saying with the precise attacks, like we're doing precise. Like what do we?
How precise can it get? It can blow up a single house. That's pretty precise. How many people are in the house is a different question.
And then it's like it's also too like to sinister cover in the sense as well too because there are tunnels, right? Those things are real.
They are tunneling under hospitals and schools.
But at a certain point, at this almost you haven't seen. I don't think we've seen this, have we? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we've seen this, at least
we haven't seen. So, what the Israelis are doing is they're playing the role of managing the civilian population by issuing evacuation orders and wholesale moving 500,000 people at a time around on a map the way you do with your pieces on Risk.
Yeah.
It's like a board game to them. And then they're pounding an area where they think they're going to get to Hamas, who all just go underground, weather this, and then pop up at the other end of the tunnel in Gaza City or Han Yunis. They know where the tunnels are. Yeah. That's why they're targeting them where they're at. But for some reason, I'll leave it to the listeners to insert reason here. They don't seem to be effectively stopping this. They seem to be picking an area, pounding it to smithereens, moving everybody back into the pounded area so they can go back to pounding the other area, and they're just moving them around, bombing this area. The unexploded ordnance that is sitting in Gaza now makes it uninhabitable for the next 1,000 years. You're never going to grow anything in those fields anymore. It is never going to be self-sufficient. And it is hard to look at that and think that there is any goal other than the outright extermination of the people who live there.
And yeah, that is as simple and plain. Like, if people say genocide and people get upset about that, like, I don't know what else you can call it. And I think, like, there's no one owns that word. That word has been, like, people have been, it's happened to multiple different types of people. And I think
there's been other groups who have been the victims of genocide who have then later gone on to perpetrate it. So don't think that you're immune of that accusation because you survived one.
And I think there's something, I don't, like, if I had the time to do research on this and look into it, I do think there has to be, like, because we've seen this before. I think there's other groups, again, that have been a victim of this. And it almost, like, I don't know if it puts, like, you're almost so afraid of this happening, like, again, that it's like, nah, I'm not, like, you almost don't see the humanity, like, it's like no one, not that no one saw my humanity, but it's like, I can only, you're almost like a one-track voter.
You're so focused on trying to keep yourself alive and safe that you'll do literally anything, and you're excusing anything.
Yeah, and we've seen that to be
I think it's a bit like an abuse cycle.
Yes,
you know, you've got a kid who gets abused.
Yeah,
and they vow to never do that and be, you know, different from their parents, and they grow up and they become that exact thing because they're so zealously trying to protect themselves. Yeah, and that's why that cycle perpetuates. It could be that. I'm not the psychiatrist.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can't, I mean, but I also, too, some of this, and I think that's why you have to be very specific about, like, the Israeli government doing this, is that I'm sure there are many people, I've heard them at this point.
It's the Netanyahu government.
Yes,
don't even call it the Israeli government, because now you've got Gallant and these guys, you know, splintering off. Naftali Bennett called this war a disaster. You know, I mean, it's not just the opposition parties too. You know, you've got real members of Likud saying this is a problem.
And I don't know. I mean, also too, if Biden makes a move, it's really good politics. And that sounds terrible to say that.
It's good politics to some.
But like, where the losses that everybody is saying, and again, if you trust these polls or whatever, where you feel like the losses are going to happen in November, it could be to your point, right? Hey, we've gone this far. We're in that line where people are going to, like, they're going to dig your freaking.
He's getting criticized for doing too much for Israel and too little for Gaza at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, or not enough, you know, you're not supporting Israel enough. And then you're not helping Gaza enough. Like, I hate to say this politically speaking, but from the political perspective, if you're Biden and you're trying to figure out when do you pull the plug on this, you might have to let things get a little bit worse first. Because amongst Democratic voters who still support Israel, of which there is a sizable portion, they kind of need to see something so reprehensible that they, like me, eventually just flip and be like, this is over. I can't countenance this anymore. I can't be a part of it. It's got to stop. And it might need to be that they got to see something truly awful. Like, for example, go ahead, what happened to these aid convoys. You've got Gaza is in trouble. The people need aid. They need food. They need water. They need anything they can get. And the world is trying to send it to them. And the Israelis are stopping them from getting there. But the Jordanians have been trying to send trucks across the West Bank with the approval of the Israeli government to deliver this aid to Gaza.
And I assume, so if you're not watching this,
what you're seeing right now are yes, Jewish extremist settlers who have stopped these aid trucks dead in their tracks and are destroying the food and water that is meant to be delivered to the children of Gaza.
How? I've asked this, like, and I think to all my Jewish brothers, how could you look at this and feel safe? Like, I know you don't feel, like, folks don't feel safe regardless, but, like, this is kind of like, yo, why would someone even do that to kind of even, like, it doesn't, it's like.
I don't feel safe on any side of this anymore.
Of course, but, like, that's scary.
I'm worried in this country about Nazis and right-wing extremists and stuff. I'm worried about people taking up the Palestinian cause and taking it too far, not really understanding the nuance of the situation, and flying those Hamas flags and talking about river to the sea and kill everybody and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm worried about the guys with the seat hanging out their shirts. Those are supposed to be the guys that the worst they were going to do to me is make fun of me for eating a cheeseburger. Now I kind of look at those guys and I think, oh my God, you're some sort of violent extremist. And I look like, sound like, and have the same name as you.
It's very scary.
You ever been afraid of your own people? That's not how it's supposed to work.
It's not supposed to work that way. And I look at this every day, and no one, trust me, no one's looking at this thing with nuance. No one at all is like those individuals are there. Like, they're not the same as.
They see guys in kippahs throwing food off of a truck.
And that turns into
the Jews. The Jews are starving Gaza on purpose.
Yeah,
that's
it.
What it looks like.
It's like a very scary. It's a very scary thing, and I just like I look at that, and I don't know where I look at the majority leader in the Senate. I wonder how he approaches these things.
Well, he's approaching it in one way, which is the House Republicans are trying, this nonsense about passing laws to try to tell Biden that he can't yank weapons away from the Israelis or whatever. And Schumer's like, no way, buddy. It's just not happening.
Because it's the power of the executive. Let's start there. And these are the same people who are supporting the tiki torch motherfuckers who are out here saying the Jews will not replace us. This country.
It's a weird place to be.
This country,
because I remember during Charlottesville and all that time, right after, when I started to get very worried about all of this, I was calling out saying, hey, Mossad, where are you? You know, because their job has been to protect Jewish people around the world when threats arise, right? Whether it's in Munich or Buenos Aires or wherever. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, we got torch-carrying Nazis, within driving distance of my house. It's time for the IDF to come in and rescue me. Now I don't want them anywhere near me. Yeah. It's not good. It's not, dare I say, it's not kosher. This is not good. And we can't be this. And the world can't see us like this. Brian's got thoughts.
Yes. I got thoughts. I recently was at the College Parks City Council, and they spent a good 40 minutes at least talking about this. I don't know why, but they seemed they had a petition signed up for the entire city to fill up and send it to President Biden. Some of the stories I heard was, especially the personal ones, those who have families there, was very tragic to hear. And like I said before, you kind of mentioned it earlier, it's like there's a point where we greet you and support you as a hero, but eventually what is happening, you're becoming the villain. And I know it's the leader's fault for doing this, and which I do agree. Biden, as you said earlier about Biden should wait, no.
He shouldn't wait. But I'm saying politically, it might be the thing that he has to do. But no, he shouldn't wait. He should go back 3 weeks ago and stop this. Or 6 months ago.
Again, this whole thing is I feel it's like it's gotten to the point where it's when you got pretty much it's just one being and beating it, like you said, it's a bully factor, and you've been bullied for so long, you want to beat up just a little person who's just being a gnat to you. That's what pretty much I want to fully describe this.
Yeah, but don't minimize.
But I'm not.
The threat that Hamas poses.
I'm not. But the thing is it's like.
But Hamas can't do this.
No,
they don't have the capability.
And you're trying to wipe out an entire, not just them, but you're wiping out another group of people for. And again, like you said, for what? Well, what's the end game?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that there's no day after plan.
The problem is before this popped off, and it's almost kind of similar. Like it's almost that this works for Hamas. This also works for Bibi.
Netanyahu, it does.
Because again, the grand bargain was close. I always looked at what Kushner and those guys did to kind of cozy up to the Saudis on that as very weird, and I never got obviously they moved the embassy and all those things that I felt go against like what the diplomatic relationship should be with our country to Israel, like things I had never saw before. But I do know that MBS is the key to this.
Yes.
And it's very weird to say that.
Yes.
It's very weird to say that. But MBS
But the deal was so close, and Hamas couldn't let that happen.
Hell no. And again...
And Iran couldn't let that happen.
Exactly.
Because they're the ones who fund them.
Yeah, and that's where this stuff gets really a lot bigger, and it's still to this point, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the only, they're going to be the only ones that can rebuild this.
They're going to have to.
They're the only, it's the only option.
Look at the depth of the damage to the physical land of Gaza. That no amount of Saudi money will ever be able to. I mean, I know that I know their money is effectively unlimited, but I'm telling you that,
people import food other places. Like if you let the food get there, it's gonna look different.
There's bombs littered all over the place. Okay. That haven't exploded. They're going to keep killing people even if the war stopped today for another 100 years, and it's impossible to get in there and detonate all of them and find all of them because the Israelis won't let anybody in with detonators.
Someone else other than Israel has to be in another state, the new state of Palestine. Someone else has to be there.
Well, the only other border to Gaza is Egypt.
Yes.
And the Egyptians have made it very clear that they are not about to open up that side of the Rafah crossing to be some international anything.
Eventually, in the rebuilding of this, there has to be a two-state solution. That's
maybe
evident.
the pier is the solution.
Maybe.
If you can't get in through Israel.
Right.
And they're not about to shoot at an American naval structure. So maybe that's the only solution. Is it's going to have to come in through the sea. You're going to have to build up this port.
But who staffs this?
We do, currently.
Yeah, but
and the Cypriots and some other people. Yeah. I mean,
aren't they trying to flip? Isn't friggin'... I just read coming up here today that Cruz is trying to attach something to these piers as well, too. There's something that I just read coming up on here.
I don't know, but I can tell you that people from Texas don't know shit about Israel. Well, and he ain't from Texas.
He's definitely he's from
Canada.
Drake's boy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Not touching that with a 20-foot pole. No. You want to talk about a real battle.
Oh, here it is. This comes out of Axios here. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, plans to leverage humanitarian pier in Gaza as a way to put Democrats on the record over President Biden's approach to the Israel-Hamas war. Why it matters? Cruz is signaling that if Democrats don't vote for his military aid legislation, he will force a vote on the pier. Temporary floating pier was obviously completed.
He can't force a vote on the pier.
Because Chuck Schumer is
also that's not how the Constitution works. Biden's the commander-in-chief.
Exactly.
He's Canadian. He doesn't know. I understand.
Yeah, but yes, they're trying to use that as well too. So,
there isn't an answer here. I mean, the first answer is stop shooting.
Yeah, it has to just
has to be ceasefire, and
also too there are hostages that are
there's still hostages.
That's crazy.
Look,
and those people I know want this.
A ceasefire often is sort of predicated on who's going to fuck it up first. Right?
Yeah.
So the Israelis have over the years been willing to offer these ceasefires knowing that somebody's going to chuck a rocket somewhere and they're going to be like, see, they broke it, annihilation.
Yeah. Yes.
Hamas knows that, and they will definitely do that. If there's a ceasefire today, by Saturday, Hamas will have fired some rockets. They'll make some bullshit argument about why that wasn't against the ceasefire or whatever. The Israelis are going to say, see, we told you they can't be trusted. And they're going to flatten whatever they haven't already flattened now. So that may not actually, there's no good faith arbiter here.
No.
Hamas is not a good faith negotiating partner. They are not going to play ball. They are not going to make any agreement that you can reliably believe that they're going to stick to. They are a bunch of terrorist, mass murdering fuckheads, right? And the Netanyahu government is effectively the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can't trust either one of them.
I'm not sure where this ends. Really, I have no clue where this ends. It's
By the way, Ukraine's still going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And new fronts opened up.
Yes.
You know. What was the song about?
God, I'm already blanking on it.
1984.
1984.
Yeah, distracting us from some war or whatever.
Yeah. It's like.
That's what happens when you let the frogs be gay. I'm blaming the gay frogs.
Gay frogs.
They don't have a good lobby.
Aren't they asexual?
Well, they can flip. That's the
can
whole
flip,
thing.
yeah.
That's what he doesn't like.
Oh, but that doesn't make them gay. I'm not entertaining Alex Jones.
In the right-wing world, that's exactly what that means. They don't understand what anything means. They're just making it up.
It's not true.
And the frogs are rainbow-colored, so they don't like that.
Not true.
Yeah. I don't like the frogs. All right. I think we've bummed everybody out enough for that little bit. We're going to take a break.
Yes.
With a little palate cleanser. When we come back, we're going to do funny stuff where we make fun of what did he call him? Cheeto dusted something or other. It's going to be pretty good. We got all kinds of great quotes from the Trump trials. You're going to love it. You're listening to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like size it up? I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, well, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, it's the last thing. And we're not getting what humans always thought was key, the bone broth. 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 Well, now it's the next level of that. It's caveman. But hey, I need a glass of caveman. Caveman. Man. It's better than Ovaltine. Better than Ovaltine. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Caveman is just over the top. What in the world? But now with the milk, I was like, whoa, this has milk in it. Whoa. It tastes like good. Man, this tastes so good. Tastes like the best milkshake ever. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. Whoa.
This is I can say without a doubt, at least in my experience, that this is literally.
This is a super home run available at InfoWarsLife.com, and it supports the broadcast. All right.
Caveman, the bone broth.
It's like bone broth. It's like Liz Cheney is looking at the screen like,
Yeah, she's looking right up at it too.
right,
You know.
it's insane.
Hi, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm Chip.
Yeah.
With me is Tez.
What's popping, y'all?
You enjoying your Alex? Did you got
Yes,
one of your?
I got the classic. Classic.
You got the leftist ass.
leftist, globalist, you know.
Yeah. Feels better now.
Yo, he said I'm getting close to eating my neighbor is very wild to say. That is just class, so funny.
And he said it unprompted.
Yo, unprompted.
Yeah, he just
this
says
close to eating my neighbor. Yo, it's crazy. Insane.
Yeah. And this guy, you know, he still has a show on Twitter.
Of course.
You know, because why not? I follow him on the Twitter.
He said Christ wouldn't do that, but I will. That's insane.
Yes, but that is how the right wing speaks.
That is
They live in this
insane.
world. Okay.
Moving on.
Speaking of the right wing, Donald Trump. So he's on trial in New York for paying hush money to a porn star and lying about it.
That's not but you know, that is what happened. Remember?
It's election interference.
That is what this is here.
Right. What he did was committed several felonies in an attempt to, while breaking election law.
Yes.
While breaking New York State election law in this case. But yes, this trial is very important right now because it's kind of the only one that's moving.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week that Judge Eileen Cannon, who got her law degree, I think, what did we say last week, from Chuck E. Cheese, but it turns out I did a little research. It's not correct. She got it from Cracker Jack's box.
She's a baseball fan?
Yeah, it's Cracker Jill's. I'm sorry.
Cracker
Yeah,
Jill's.
She got to, you know, we got to be equal opportunity. Right?
Obviously.
So yeah, she put that case on indefinite hold, and the other stuff is we're waiting on the Supreme Court. Although the Supreme Court's starting to issue some rulings. I mean, some of that was rocket docket stuff. Some of it was real docket stuff.
Yeah,
we are coming up on June.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There'll be
something's going to happen. So anyway, there's been a lot of salacious, goofy details that have come out over the last week and a half in this weird, goofy, salacious trial. I mean, let's just be honest.
And reputable news organizations have not been bringing that to us. Most of them have been sticking to...
Yeah, they're trying to stay above board.
Yeah, that's not what we do here.
Is not what we do here on Chip Chat. We're going to highlight the ridiculousness of this trial. One of the things that seems to be very evident is that while Donald Trump was banging a porn star and paying her to keep quiet about it, his wife had just had a baby, and he seemed like surprisingly unconcerned about how she felt about this whole thing.
I just want to be president.
So
again.
part of the thing about this is they have to establish that he was doing all this stuff to cover it up for the campaign, not for other reasons, but for the campaign. Yeah. And one of the obvious question is, well, maybe he was just trying to hide it from his wife. Yeah. You know, because every time you have an affair with a porn star,
right,
first thing you do is try to make sure your wife doesn't find out about it. You know, the dozens of times either of us have committed this particular offense.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of your browser history.
Fishing out of it. Oh, there you go.
Clear out your phone, whatever. You know, the basics.
Yeah.
He didn't do any of that. He's got 30,000 contacts in his phone. He didn't clear any of that out.
Insane.
He gave it to Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
Synced his phone.
Never, I mean, but why would he never, do you think he ever?
He never cared about Melania.
Yeah,
she doesn't care about him either. Yeah. But it's now in public record and very funny. So, let's see. Both Daniels and former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen have testified to the effect that Trump expressed little concern about how Melania might perceive his alleged infidelity. Quote, I said to him, and how's things going to go with upstairs? Are you concerned about that? Cohen said, referring to Trump's wife. Cohen testified that Trump responded, don't worry. How long do you think I'll be on the market? Not long. He's like, go ahead and divorce me. I don't care.
Crazy.
Okay. He wasn't thinking about Melania. It was all about the campaign, said Cohen. Details. Details. All right. Daniels testified that during their alleged 2006 encounter, Trump showed her pictures that included Melania. prompting Daniels to inquire, "What about your wife?" "Oh, don't worry about that. We don't even sleep in the same room," he told her. Red flag.
Yeah.
Go ahead, evangelicals. Vote for that guy.
Yeah, right. That's your
Similarly, former National Enquirer executive David Pecker, best name in the whole
great
trial,
name for this whole trial,
testified that amid Pecker's efforts, I love when they just add it instead of his, they just use his name over and over again. Pecker's efforts to bury similar embarrassing stories about Trump never expressed worry about his family finding out. Every time the conversation that I had with Michael Cohen with respect to both of these stories, his family was never mentioned. And the conversations that I had directly with Mr. Trump, his family wasn't mentioned. So I assumed it was all about the campaign.
Lord, how do you get exposed by a pecker? That's insane. That's just insane. That like this dick.
Pecker also testified about running all these fake stories about Ted Cruz and Hillary and all this other kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, we made that stuff up to try to help Donald Trump.
Yo,
that's an illegal campaign contribution.
Like,
did you declare it? Did you?
Did you not expect once this went to trial that Pecker would come out the woodwork?
Look, if you unzip, the Pecker's going to come out.
Yeah.
There's always a Pecker right behind.
As big as this trial is?
The Pecker had some stiff words for the jury. Cohen went further, saying that he would show the stories that Pecker was publishing to Trump before they ran. Trump loves to see the Pecker before it goes out.
Yeah.
He said Trump's reaction generally was along the lines of, "That's fantastic," and "That's unbelievable." Yeah, it's the National Enquirer. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
The testimony also contradicts what Trump claimed back in 2016 when he said that about the Cruz story, that he had nothing to do with it. Of course he did. This detail, very funny, also very, very gross. One of the details is that Daniels testified under oath that Trump didn't use a condom. Gross. Even as the two of them talked about her industry's protocol for testing for sexually transmitted infections. The Washington Post has reported that Trump shook his head during the condom talk.
No.
I didn't use condoms. Condoms are for losers like Joe Biden. Trump also seemed to object when Daniels described a scene in which Trump challenged her to spank him with a rolled-up magazine. New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Marchand reprimanded Trump to his lawyers, saying that he shook his head and he looked down at that point. He also was like cussing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He was going on.
Finally.
Ugh.
Okay.
This
don't sip your beer right now.
No, this is worse than the bone broth. Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the bone broth with the Pecker. If you're a Pecker shooting bone broth, you may have met a caveman. Finally, Daniels testified that during their encounter,
this is disgusting.
Trump compared her to his daughter. Quote, "You remind me of my daughter because she is smart and blonde and beautiful and people underestimate her as well." And then he had sex with her. That is what the evangelicals are voting for.
Oh, no, we're selling them short. They're voting for another Supreme Court justice.
Look.
They don't care. They'll swallow this.
Oh.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
That's why they're going to swallow it.
All the bone broth.
The bone broth.
All right, this weird tidbit is, are you sure you're his defense team? So he has this lawyer called Todd Blanche, who in every photo and pastel sketch looks like he's furious about being there. I mean, this guy just looks angry as fuck. He began his cross-examination by asking about a derogatory reference that Cohen used for Trump on TikTok.
This is dumb.
Then he shifted focus to Cohen's often profane attacks on Trump. So this is Trump's lawyer saying this out loud. "You referred to President Trump as dictator douchebag, didn't you?" Sounds like something I would say, said Cohen.
Yeah.
Blanche pressed further, asking Cohen if he recalled saying that he hoped Trump would be jailed like an animal. Now, we know that Donald Trump hates animals.
Jailed like an animal? Does he mean the zoo?
I recall
animals
saying
aren't
that.
jailed.
Cohen said he recalled saying that. Well, you know, on occasion. Blanche sought to use Cohen's social media rhetoric to depict him as a publicity-hungry and vengeful. The defense lawyer brought up Cohen's earlier statements, lavishing praise on Trump to highlight his about-face and portray him as obsessed with the former president. On your first podcast, you referred to President Trump as a boorish cartoon misogynist, didn't you? He's like, yeah, I did. Thanks for bringing that up in front of him. Appreciate that. Blanche asked Cohen if he continued the attack on Trump similarly through 2020, including calling him a Cheeto-dusted cartoon villain.
I mean,
Cohen's like, definitely said that. Yeah. If the tiny shoe fits.
Word.
I'm assuming that he has tiny feet because it goes along with his tiny hands, but I don't know about that. He does stand weird.
It's true.
So maybe
I have tiny hands and I have size 13 shoe.
Is that it? So wait, are your hands
My
abnormally
hands are very
small?
small.
You can't make an octave on the piano?
No, hell no. No, not at all.
That's weird.
It's a very weird.
But you have like clown feet.
It's very weird. It's just
Michael Phelps?
Yeah, I'm meant to be in the ocean.
Is that how you got here? It's the Cuban side of you?
It's the Cuban side of me, exactly. It's very, that's the reason I have these small hands, because of my small 5'3", 5'4" father. That is the problem there. But shout out to him, though. That's the only reason I'm here.
Viva la Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll go straight.
You want to do a TED Talk?
Yeah, I mean, this one here, we're going back. We're going back, y'all. I'm inspired again.
Look at these dead ass birds.
Are we doing dead ass birds?
You're doing dead ass birds.
Yes.
All right, so way back when, not way back when, but probably I guess maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little less than that.
It's way
there
back.
was a movie.
There's movies?
It was a movie,
okay.
Right? And it was a day. You know when that day was?
After Tomorrow?
Yes. It was the day after tomorrow.
It's the best climate movie there ever was made.
Do you remember?
Sucks to you, Al Gore. Should have made that movie. Then people would have listened.
Yeah, because they're both super effective. Jesus Christ, because now I'm thinking about the 2000 election. I'm getting very upset. I'm like, yo, this would all have been fixed.
Fuck you, Ralph Nader.
Yo.
Go back to being mad about cars.
Let's not do it again. But if you remember that movie, there was a specific event that happened that ended up causing the climate to change. It's a specific thing.
I've definitely only seen this movie once.
Yeah, me too. I've never watched it again.
For me to never want to watch it again.
Dude, that was a good movie to watch.
It was a very stupid movie.
Yeah, guess what happened? We all went to Mexico. Guess what's probably going to happen? We all wanted to go to Mexico.
Yeah, in our climate refugee camps.
Crazy.
Yes.
Wait till they start turning us back. Anyways.
That movie makes a lot of points.
It's crazy. That movie is actually very insane.
That and Idiocracy should be like the required.
Right.
And WALL-E.
All right, so for those who hadn't seen it, what they talked about and what caused these abnormal weather events all across the globe was the collapse of the Gulf Stream.
Yes.
Which is very
close to happening.
Close to, and there's some debate on this. Needless to say, it is very scary.
Yes.
And again, the scientists are kind of like, some people are saying 2025, just
right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Some people are saying the end of the century. And again, this is, and I think it's AMOC, I think is what the actual term of this is. And this has happened before. Like, so again, with humans on Earth.
People think about the things like where the continents are and where the currents are and where the glaciers are as being static, but they're not.
They're not.
And even within human history, these things have shifted a bit.
Yeah. So, right, a lot of things is like, if you're not aware of what this does, kind of the science behind it, and again, it's a conveyor belt. It makes this Earth is really amazing that it kind of can do this, right? That it's taking the warm water from the equator and taking up to where I was born, up into England and there, and that's why those areas
are habitable.
Exactly.
Because if you look at their corresponding latitudes in, say, Asia or Canada, it's an ice sheet.
Yes.
Yeah.
and it could easily happen again.
Yes.
And many scientists are saying that they're watching.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying that there are some concerns that this Gulf Stream could be slowing down.
And it's not just the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is one of several of these currents that does this thing. If you look at the fluid of the ocean, right? Fluids convect when they're heated in one place. They expand and they push and they move to places where it's colder, and because the density of the fluid, and so that creates this convection, and it moves the ocean water around, it moves the air around as well. It's a critical thing to heat distribution.
Yeah.
It's not just about keeping Europe warm, it's also about dissipating heat at the equator.
Correct. Because again, what do we know about heat at the equator? What do we know about warmer waters? That is what drives these superstorms that are going to end up hitting us.
That's right.
If you've seen, we've had a few hurricanes over the last 3 years that start as a category 1 and in less than 24 hours
turn into fours. Yeah.
And the thing is, there's no planning for that. There's no way.
We don't have infrastructure for that. We don't have
There's
building
no
codes
way
for
to-
that. We don't have anything, no resilience.
And I watched that movie The Day After Tomorrow, and I saw it, and I was like, all right, this is kind of like whatever. Like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
The Mayans and the 2012 and all that stuff was huge and whatever. Like, cool. But some of this stuff is going to happen.
Yes.
Like,
the superstorms are real.
The superstorms are real.
If you can't dissipate the heat, it's like
El Nino, and combined with El Nino is just,
which is the thing nobody understands how that even happens, but
Right.
it just does. So if you're not able to move heat effectively away from the tropics and dissipate it near the polar regions, you got a problem because you got a lot of heat at those tropical latitudes, and it has to dissipate somewhere. It's going to go into the atmosphere, and it's going to be these superstorms. Energy is energy is energy.
Right.
You got to move it around.
It's going to move.
And for a long time in human history, the amount of energy on planet Earth was less. And we now have more energy on planet Earth because we have trapped a lot of it from the sun.
Yeah.
And we got to get rid of it. And you can't just put it someplace. You got to, like, get it back out into space. Like, that shit should have reflected back off, but it didn't.
It didn't, and it's here.
So now what are we going to do with it?
I don't know. I'm very worried about
Windmills.
Yeah, well, I hope because again, it's all about making the suffering, like you can make less suffering. And I think all these things we talk about, migrations and all, like when people don't have places to live, that's when this is when all these things get really
They don't
shaky.
have food.
When they have food, when these things kind of get to a point where there's no, like the point of no return, it's tricky. And I tie this back in to British Premier League. I sat and watched at the end of Manchester United getting thrashed by Arsenal. I watched in Manchester in May, which is still Manchester.
That's northern England for the Americans.
Yes.
Like, it's cold there.
I watched.
Should be in winter coats.
I watched hail come out of the sky.
Hail only happens in the summer.
I sat there, and it was at the end, and they have a very shitty stadium that leaks. And, shows
Shout out to Old Trafford.
Yeah, it's very shitty.
Emphasis on old.
Old. Yeah, this is what happens in American investment. Shout out to, look, you can say what you want about
Tampa Bay.
Yo, it's Glazers, man.
Hey.
It was bad. But I looked at the hail in Manchester. I don't know. That's
not a thing.
That's not really a thing. And I think that island should be, out of all the islands, should be very worried because it could turn many parts of that into places where human life can't exist.
And they figured out how to burn coal in the first place.
Exactly, and like the coal is coming home to roost.
Yeah,
like it's here. It's definitely here. I don't know. God knows what the next. This is a very beautiful planet. It's insane
from space.
From space,
yeah,
from
looks
space.
really good.
Here, I mean, maybe not with all the satellites now.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's what happens here is very unique, and something has to be done. And I don't want to things are being done. I'm not going to say
things are being done. I mean, right now
IRA I think is huge.
It's huge. We've got grid modernization going on, which is a huge deal because as we bring on more renewable resources, we've got more demand on the electric grid. We got to make sure that it doesn't crash like it does in Texas.
Glacier melting right now, I guess. I don't know.
But like Venezuela just lost their last glacier. and you think, oh, well, they're a tropical country. Do they have glaciers? Yeah, they're up in the Andes Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had La Corona was the last glacier that they had. It's gone. So now it's just an ice sheet, not a glacier anymore, and not classified as such. It's too small.
It's literally pick your own adventure with the climate. Like when you burn the fuck up, you drown, you freeze,
Mudslides, fires. It's
tornado. We've seen the tornadoes that have happened.
Oh yeah, I mean, you add energy. Energy is energy is energy.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you all paid attention in physics class, but one of the things that you should have learned is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change form.
Yeah.
So if you absorb it as heat, and then you got to move it around as heat, that makes it kinetic. And kinetic means moving.
Yeah.
And the only things that are really kinetic on Earth are water and air. Kinetic air is called wind. Kinetic water is called waves. Both of which pretty fucking dangerous.
Better harness these things. I don't have any clue I have no clue what life looks like here in 150 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no clue what that looks like.
Coastal West Virginia. Joe Manchin be able to float his boat.
Oh.
Yeah. Sail it right to Charleston.
What used to be.
Yeah. No, Charleston will still be there.
I guess that's fair.
It'll just be a port city.
Port city, yeah. That's true.
All right. Can we take a quick break to recombobulate ourselves after you just bummed us out again? Oh, my God. Yes.
I'm back.
Before we go back to making fun of things, because we've got the third half of the show, which is going to be funny. There's a lot of funny stuff in here. All right. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Dude, America first! America first! Get that through your head! Dude, America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! What the hell, man? Dude, America first! America first! To all of you, let me explain one damn thing. America, America, America. Dude, you understand? America, America, America. My point is America's first. America, America, America. What the hell, man? Globalists, no! Goblins, no! This is it. Everybody get ready! America first! America first! Get that through your head! Dude, America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! Get that through your head! America first! America first! I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks. You're full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Oh, there's energy and now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one. I know what you are now. Witches and warlocks are full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why every goddamn thing out of your people's mouths doesn't come true. You said it was all over. You told us the stuff. You. Oh, God. Witches and warlocks, you're full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why witches and warlocks are full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it.
You keep interrupting me.
And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Because every goddamn thing you say out your mouth.
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm Alex Jones. Now turn to the Frogs Gate. Turbo Force.
We need more trains.
Yeah.
Choo-choo trains.
Choo-choo trains. So interesting climate news.
I hope they're wrong.
Well, the Environmental Defense Fund today announced a successful launch of the methane sat. This satellite is going to be used to
gauge how much methane is out there?
Track methane emissions around the world so that you can catch people lying about this. Russia. And, you know, it's a critical piece to holding everybody accountable to the agreements that they make. Because right now we're just sort of up to like voluntary reporting. So Godspeed, little satellite. Hope you deploy nicely and everything works out. People were quick to point out you had to use a lot of resources and stuff to launch something up into the sky, and it's bad for the planet.
Yes.
Yes. Also, shut up. We need this. Okay? It's important. Yeah, it's like, sometimes you got to, get a shot to, prevent something much worse. Yeah, does it hurt at the moment? Yes. It's kind of like, get over it. All right. Election news.
Woo!
So there were a number of primaries.
One battle.
Some of the primaries were in states that nobody cares about, like West by God.
Yeah.
Where
That was already
Jim
with
Justice
of course.
won.
Done.
He's going to be the next senator from West by God. One of the things that they were very clear about is he has to give up his part-time coaching gig.
Oh.
He can't coach girls basketball anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Win for them.
No, they're pretty good when he's there.
Oh, for real?
Apparently, he's pretty good at this. You know, high school girls basketball, who knew? That's like a talent that governors needed to be great at.
So it's almost better he stayed there. It's like we wish Trump bought the Bills.
Right.
God, that would have changed everything.
He could be out there raising the next Caitlin Clark, and instead it's West Virginia. It's Caitlin Clark. It's not Angel Reese.
I don't know. Randy Moss comes out of Randy Moss comes out of West Virginia.
Steve Harvey too.
Yeah, Steve Harvey.
There's two of them. John Henry.
John Henry. Yeah,
famous. Okay, so nobody cares about West by God. Let's focus on real estate, Maryland.
Yes.
Interesting things are going on in Maryland right now. Number one is that they successfully blew up that chunk of the bridge that was sitting on the dolly, and they're going to get that thing refloated. They expect to have the full 35-foot channel open and operating tomorrow. Tremendous work. A marvel of engineering and grit by those strong union workers freeing up the Port of Baltimore. But the other thing that happened is Angela Brooks won the primary against David Trone in a race. Now,
this is kind of, I find this.
I was tired of the ads.
For who? For Trone?
Trone. I mean, we were blanketed.
I asked somebody in Governor Moore's office about this last week, and I said, I had never seen an ad for Angela.
Yeah, I saw a handful.
I never seen one, and I was like, and what was brought to my attention, and I didn't realize because I should have been paying more attention to this race, but I had not. I didn't realize that Trone was the total wine guy. And
yes,
he's put
so
60 million,
$62 million. So I'm a big supporter of David Trone in many ways. I buy a lot of product at his store. Big fan.
I almost worked for them at one point.
He unseated Roscoe Bartlett in that seat after the redraw. He has been a pretty good congressman. He's been also a really important fundraiser and donor for other Democrats around the country.
And that's one of the things as well, too, is especially that he was able to put his own money up for this. It's kind of almost not like it's not a loss at all when they're able to do that.
And his argument was there was no daylight between the two of them in terms of actual policy.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to vote exactly the same way.
Right.
So Trone's argument was, I'm self-funded, I'm a billionaire or whatever, I can't be bought, the lobbyists can't get to me. And Angela Brooks' argument was, I'm a black woman, my lived experience is valuable in a way that this white guy, from suburban Washington can never really understand, even though we're both going to vote exactly the same way.
And, as I'm sure you'll get to, who they're going up against.
So they're going up against Larry Hogan. Before we get to that, let's just point out that Trone was quick to congratulate Angela Brooks, and he pledged his full support.
Good, because this is a brutal primary.
Yeah, but he's willing to bring all of his efforts to help get her elected, because it's important that Democrats hold that seat. It's his Maryland, after all.
If you don't hold this, it's over with.
Well, they're running against Larry Hogan. Yeah. So Larry Hogan is a former 2-term governor of Maryland. He's a Republican who won in Maryland, where Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you talk to 3 people in Maryland, 2 of them are Democrats. One of them is a Republican. Yeah. And I don't know who that one is.
Me either. I haven't met him.
Yeah.
Have you?
He's up in Frederick.
Right, yeah.
Or on the Eastern Shore.
There you go.
Yeah.
Princess Anne.
Andy Biggs. So Hogan has won statewide in Maryland twice.
Yeah.
And he's super popular.
He's very popular.
Because even while he was governor, facing an overwhelming tide of Democratic bills coming out of the state house there in Annapolis, he worked with them.
Yeah.
You know, he was a very pragmatic kind of guy.
Yeah.
He performed well during the pandemic. He's a big critic of Trump. He does not like Trump.
That worked very much in his favor.
You know, and I don't know anybody who has anything negative to say about Larry Hogan.
Under him as well too. Even some of the gun laws that they were able to get through on that. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not
never
one of these
blocked
crazy
any of
gun
these.
nuts or anything.
Exactly. I think Maryland, out of most states, has one of the more sensible gun laws around.
So, like, Hogan won his primary pretty
course,
easily,
yeah.
and the very first thing he did was say, "I will always protect the right of women in Maryland and everywhere else."
You better say that
to choose, you know, whatever they need to do. Well,
what?
Not just politically better say that because, you know, you're dead if you don't.
Yeah.
But like, Hogan's not some like partisan warrior, but he does have an R next to his name, and it will matter when they're counting up who has the majority and who gets to control things in the Senate.
Yeah. And like, what is his play? Does he want to go to the Senate to be a Mitt Romney? And also, let's think about this too. Remember the terms of senators as well too. This would change the Senate for the next 7 years if he gets in.
Six.
But 6. But like, I'm just saying, the he gets in, you're not probably seeing a majority. Like, where else are you winning?
Yeah,
this?
in terms of like, how does Hogan govern, or what would his positions be? I don't think he'd be too detrimental to anything if he's left to his own devices.
Right.
When he was governor of Maryland, he mostly indistinguishable from a Democratic governor of Maryland, to be perfectly honest, because you're just not going to be able to win otherwise. If he's in the Senate and he's just a backbencher and he's just, you know, voting with the party, would he do that? Maybe.
I think so.
It's not clear.
Wait, no, okay, hold on.
I think so.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Knowing Hogan enough, I don't see that. If let's say this,
why is he running?
If the current status of the GOP in the Senate and in Congress in general, all of Congress in general, remains the same, I think having someone like Hogan is kind of like having someone like a Ben Cardin. You need a counter Republican to counter all this BS that's been going on in there.
In the same way that Cardin is not a super liberal Democrat, or Hoyer is not a super liberal Democrat, you know, that voice is necessary to balance a party. I don't know.
For those two individuals, how many times do they vote with Joe Biden?
All the time.
And if, let's say, Donald Trump becomes the president,
so I think
do we think he's gonna go? Is he a Mitt Romney at this point?
I think he's further. I think if Hogan won in Maryland and Trump won the presidency, and the Republicans had control of the Senate,
he's John McCain.
No more. I think he'll flip. I think he'll change affiliation.
No way in hell.
Because he's not going to vote with them.
That's fair. I don't know if that's even. I think
there's no part of Larry Hogan that votes like a MAGA Republican.
There's not.
Nothing.
But we've seen crazier shit happen, man.
We've seen Jim Justice got elected in West Virginia with a D next to his name because he was still part of that generation where everybody had to be a Democrat in West Virginia, even if they voted Republican.
Right.
And then he flipped as soon as he was clear to do so.
Right.
Hogan wants to flip. He doesn't want any part of this. His Republican Party is gone. The Republican Party that his father was a part of, who was the first one to call for Nixon to go, is gone. There's no independent, individualist, real conservatives who believe in rule of law and steadfast governance. Those people are gone. He doesn't see himself in this party.
I don't know. I bring it back to like who can win. Like if I look at this right, the only way you can pass these laws at this point are if you have a majority in the Senate and you have a majority in
So that's why it's critical that Alsobrooks has to win, because even if Hogan probably wouldn't vote in certain ways, he would still have that R next to his name and he would still contribute to their majority in terms of their numbers. And when we're counting it up in terms of committee seats, it all matters.
Does matter. I think Alsobrooks, right, if we know that and why he comes out immediately and kind of saying he'll protect a woman's right to choose is because we know that they've lost elections since Dobbs, right? And who else? Like Trone wins this. I mean, he probably says the same things, but white man saying this versus black woman, kind of trying to get this across. Again, the politics of this, like it's night and day at that point. Like,
yeah, I think amongst Maryland voters,
I'm surprised she won actually a little bit.
I was surprised
I was
too
a little
because
surprised.
because of
The money is
the money was a factor. But if you look at the way that Trone ran his campaign, what he was doing was looking for validation amongst people who would otherwise be also Brooks voters.
Yeah.
So all of his ads featured lots of black folks.
Yes, a lot. Everyone I saw.
And
I
all
kept
of
seeing
his
it.
endorsements that he would publicly show were black politicians endorsing him. So I think for Democrats in Maryland, even white Democrats in Maryland, they gauge their worth or their value in terms of black support.
Right.
That's the barometer.
Yeah.
Somehow black voters are the way that if you win black voters, you must be doing it right.
Right.
That somehow they're the judges on this American Idol version of democratic politics.
Right.
And black women in particular.
Specifically. I just think she has a better chance. She can walk through Baltimore. She can walk through Prince George's County. Like, she can do that. And I think she can turn out that vote.
And it is going to be about turnout.
And I think more crucially, if you can turn that vote out for her, I assume these individuals, which obviously is not going to be, Maryland's going to go for Joe Biden regardless. Right?
Even if Hogan won.
Yeah, that's going to happen. But regardless, like, those folks go out and other things that are on the ballot, I haven't looked at what the ballot looks like, and I don't know what the other things are out there. But any other thing that's on the ballot, you'll have more turnout because of her, I assume. And hopefully there are positive things that end up getting passed.
Well, and if she's doing well, she can sort of coattail other people up. You know, she can help raise money. She can, you know, and if Trone is going in and backing her and he's going to throw the money in, like, if she does a really good job and she's far ahead, Trone can throw his money into other races where it does matter a little more, you know, Pennsylvania or something like that.
Yeah.
It's playing the party, it's playing the region, it's playing the state all at once. But Hogan's a real threat.
He is, yeah.
He can win.
He could definitely win.
And when I say threat, I don't mean that he's dangerous.
The name recognition alone, right? Yeah, he could get
Yeah,
this.
he's a popular guy. I mean, like I said, I don't know anybody who's got an unkind word to say about Larry Hogan.
Right.
And if they go after him for being bald, it's because he had cancer. So, like, yeah. All right. Now we're going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
To deal with your favorite topic, the unelected nine, as you call
Yes,
them.
the unelected nine.
We'll leave the CFPB thing for later.
Okay.
That's a little too intricate, maybe to explain.
Marketplace.
Yes. You want Kai Rizal's job so bad.
No,
You want to interview Powell.
I would
You want to get to be able to call him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We want to interview Jay Powell. Come on the show.
Yeah.
We will treat you very well.
Yeah.
Lots of deference.
I'll definitely interview Kai Rizzo.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
Guy's got a tremendous story.
insane story.
All right.
Especially like for radio. This AI, what is this, a train in water?
Also, do you know that he was like, military veteran and all this stuff? Like, he's got this crazy past.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Supreme Court, I'm going to read you the headline. The Supreme Court restored a congressional voting map in Louisiana on Wednesday that included an additional majority black district, handing a victory to African-American voters and Democrats less than 6 months before the November election. Pause. Sounds great. How did the vote break down?
Is this the 7? No, that 7-2 is the
with CFPB.
CFP.
This was a 6-3.
Who jumped on with them? It would have to be, right, 3 liberal justices, obviously, right? So Kagan, Sotomayor, Brown Jackson are on there, right?
The politics of Wednesday's decision appear unusual, with conservatives on the court in favor of reinstating the map with 2 black majority districts, and the 3 liberal justices, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, voted no in their opposition. So it was a 6-3 with the 3 liberals in dissent.
Okay.
Square this circle. Ready, go.
Hold on. So I'm just looking at this here. It says that view. Hold on. The politics of Wednesday's decision appeared unusual.
It's the next paragraph that tells you the answer.
Right. That view reflects the broader concern among the court's liberals about the conservatives' majority instinct to prevent changes to redistricting plans and voting policies several months before an election. Oh, because if we can do it here, we can do it anywhere.
That's right.
Ooh, that is
so.
No,
KBJ was like, there was enough time to get this right, to send this back, and figure this out. You guys just wanted a quick decision, saying this is too close to the election to make a decision, which means
that we can do that anywhere.
Yes,
and
So if you've got a situation where they drew out a black district,
you can use
they can
the
just
same
be like,
defense.
look, it's too close to the election. We got to just go ahead and accept it, and we can always do it later.
This court, man, I missed this one. That you kind of, because it's bigger than it's bigger than these two black districts now here, and this should have, I assumed,
they were willing to sacrifice. Yes, it should have gone back to get redrawn.
Versus them saying, "Oh wait, we ran out of time." They're like,
KBJ wrote that the question of how to elect representatives is consistent with our shared commitment to racial equality, is among the most consequential that we face as a democracy. But she objected to the Supreme Court getting involved now. Courts generally don't like to change maps or rules close to an election because they want to avoid confusing voters as well as giving election officials the time they need to prepare. But the justices have not spelled out precisely when that principle should be invoked, and Wednesday's decision showed that its conservatives and liberals differ on the specifics. Specifically, the conservatives, they don't want to see the changes. If the map favors them, they're going to say it's too close to the election, we don't want to touch it. What they did with this was establish a precedent of when too close to an election is.
So, okay, that's very worrying.
It is
very worrying.
It looks like a win.
No, it's not.
But it could be not. Now, it is a win in terms of
in Louisiana,
getting the district back, right, and helping to keep things level in the House, which is going to be a battleground. It remains a battleground. But it might be a loss in terms of precedent setting. However, we know that precedent doesn't mean shit.
That's true.
To this court, so who cares? On to more pressing precedent. Howard University, you heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Small operation locally here. I think it's what do they call it? A community college? Is that what they?
The finest things to come out of the Freedmen's Bureau.
Howard is huge.
Yeah.
Right? And they have...
Also, too, because, right, it kind of means a lot of these institutions, whether it's Howard or Fisk or I guess Hampton, even these schools come out of something insane.
Well, Morehouse, Spelman, all that stuff.
All this stuff comes out of, right, a government being like, well, shit, all right.
FAMU.
What are we about to do with these?
What do you mean we have to educate all these people?
What the hell? And again, like the Freedmen's Bureau, I think is one of the more crazier things that this country has ever.
Radical Republicans.
Radical
created.
Republicans. Shout out to Thaddeus and my man. Who am I blanking his name from?
Lincoln and all those
Lincoln,
guys.
yeah,
come in. All right,
Sumner.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
All right, so Howard, of course, is a big deal, and
it's huge.
They're a big deal here, obviously in Washington, where we don't have a lot of home team college affiliates that do a lot of great things sports wise. It's not. I mean, Georgetown used to be.
I thought Georgetown when I was a kid. Look, I see you over there.
We lived in that era.
I thought Georgetown when I was a kid was an HBCU.
You did?
Based on
based on the basketball teams.
Yeah,
as a kid, like before I could, I was like, "What is this?"
I was shocked to find out it was a Catholic university because everybody I knew that went there was Jewish.
That's a good point as well too. That's I was like, this is fascinating. These are all like this team is headed by John Thompson and
Allen
all
Iverson
black,
and all. Yeah.
it's like, there's a big old Jamaican on it as well too. It's insane. Like I easily thought that was a HBCU until I got a little bit older and realized that it's not.
So like occasionally, we have Georgetown back in the day was pretty good, right? Mason made a run at it within living memory. We had American made it to the Sweet 16, and but we don't have a lot like sports wise collegiately. No. So we have to be proud of academics here in DC, which makes us a bunch of nerds. But fortunately, we're punching well above our weight in that category, right? Not just Georgetown and American, but of course, Howard.
Yeah.
Like, Howard. It's everything. It's the Mecca, right? So, Howard Nursing School, they had their graduation. Or they almost did.
Almost.
And Howard Nursing's a big deal.
Yep.
Howard Medical is a big deal.
Yeah.
They've got a huge hospital.
Yep.
Graduate some of the strongest in their field. This one didn't go well. What happened?
They were getting ready to graduate, and there ended up being calamity inside of the hall where they were to graduate. What hall are we in on here? Is it in the nursing school? It was in Crampton.
Yeah,
obviously, it was in Crampton. Yeah, of course. In Crampton Auditorium, great place, great auditorium.
Yep. You probably performed there.
I did a talent show there.
Did you really?
I was very young. I might have been just getting into, maybe sophomore in high school. I remember I was very nervous of doing this, and I did it. I remember getting a huge round of applause after that, and I was like, only takes that to continue to keep doing it.
That's it.
But yeah, the family members were not invited. Like, they came up to capacity, right? Let's start there.
They were full.
Crampton is not huge.
It's not huge. It's a small place.
It's not that big.
I think it fits a few hundred people.
Yeah, it's not that big. And, you really can't tell mommies and daddies at this point, right, where they want to come see their child walk across the stage and kind of get their diploma. Can't tell them that they're not going to come in. And when they didn't come in, they started beating and banging on the doors. They
busted the windows.
There it is, right there.
I've been to a lot of graduations, and every one of them starts with this sort of blanket announcement. All y'all hold your applause until after everybody has marched and heard their name walked, so everybody gets to hear their name. Everybody gets to get their stuff, and then we can, congratulate the whole class. And it never works out.
Everybody's clapping.
Because everybody, when their kid comes up,
they're not going to not clap.
They're not going to not clap. People are proud. They're excited. They're happy, whatever. And then here you're telling everybody, these are kids. They're not kids. They finished not just college, but also nursing school. So they've been in school for like 6 years. And their parents are proud and they want to be included, but they were at capacity. And the parents, look, I get it. I'm proud of my kids.
Yeah.
You can't be this. You can't do that. Because now you took it away from the kids. They canceled it.
You canceled it, yeah. And I don't know. Like, I do find that parents can be, I guess they're being parents to some extent, but it's just kind of a little over, like, why are we beating down, breaking glass at a graduation?
It's like parents who are too excited at Little League games or whatever.
Like, what are we doing? It's a Little League game.
Brian is an expert in collegiate stuff.
He is.
Right? Because he covers all the college sports and all that. So you probably see parents acting badly on the sidelines at games.
Some, especially with black parents.
Okay, Brian Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well evident. It's like one of the games I saw this season, one of the parents.
I'm going to guess it wasn't lacrosse.
No, it's not
Okay.
lacrosse.
Just making sure.
Was really highly upset about certain calls that were not being made and yelling at the ref. And this was like the opposing team. It wasn't the home team. And you kind of feel like, yeah, I get it. Even though it's like, you try to find a balance here and there and all that stuff. And of course, the coach is kind of like in agreement with what some of the bad calls. But then again, there will be those times where that particular collegiate parent will want to come onto the court, which was seen during the women's finals or women's semifinals where one of the premier South Carolina players, she comes in, beats down one of the opposing team's players after another bump with Angela Reese, and then the parent comes out of nowhere and almost beats her up. And it's just like, whoa, what are you doing? So it does get to the point where...
Listen, I try to jump through my TV at a bad call.
Yeah,
and,
but
they're several hundred miles away.
Right, but you understand, it's like, it's tough
Oh, my kid can fight.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to sit there and be like, oh, you don't come home.
Yeah.
Hell, you better go whoop their ass. I ain't gonna, what? No, exactly. You better go ahead and figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to tell you a story off here.
But it's also, like,
graduation is not the time.
Sport, it's not a sporting event. Like
I get it, you're proud, but please, like you ruined it for your kid and everybody else's kid.
It's almost like the exact opposite of what a graduation is supposed to be.
I've seen this several times myself at several graduations, and most of those weren't black, just to be clear. So like parents misbehaving at graduation is kind of like the norm. It shouldn't be that.
Well, I think sometimes I'd always love to do a deep dive into parents trying to live and like vicariously through their kids as well too, in a sense, whether it's sports, it's graduating, maybe you didn't graduate from college, so you kind of think this is like your moment as well too. Very weird. You should probably go talk to a therapist.
Yeah. Speaking of therapists.
Talk to one anyways. Not if you,
yeah, everybody should have a therapist. Who doesn't have a therapist? Losers. That's probably not helping the message.
Right.
Go get a therapist. Yeah. So you're not a loser. All right. You want to know how to diplomat?
Oh, I already know.
So look, we talk about Tony Blinken a bit on this show. I'm a fan. I think he's a great Secretary of State. He's done a really good job in a lot of places. You know, he's been handed a tough...
Caught a raw deal, man.
Yeah. That's about the best way to describe this.
Deal is this one.
He's got wars all over the world. He's got he's already coming into an administration whose main job on the world stage is to apologize for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a tough gig. But Tony Blinken knows about gigs.
He does.
He's a musician. And he plays in a rock band, which I want to be clear about. His name is Anthony Blinken.
Yeah.
Do you know the name of his rock band?
The Blinkettes?
Nope.
Of course it's
Blink 182.7.
No. It's A. Blinken.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
His band is called A. Blinken, and he plays guitar. And so, he made an unannounced visit to Kyiv, and he was there to say, we're bringing more weapons, we're sending you more money, we're doing all this stuff. And after meeting with all the officials and stuff, he got there to a local pub.
Good for him.
And he went out to tell everybody, hey, we're here to support you and to do all this stuff. He says Ukraine is not just fighting for Ukraine, but they are fighting for the whole free world. And then he played
that song,
Keep On Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young. And it was great. And he's not a good singer, but Neil Young's not a good singer, so it's fine. I was so impressed by this. I think that this is, it's very set up.
Yeah, of course.
But it's very cool. And it makes, these guys are like on this pedestal, but they're also in this weird job where they have to do this incredible thing, but they're also still regular people.
Yes.
And so to see them do something amazing and also be a regular people feels gratifying. And it puts me a little closer.
Yeah.
Now, Keep On Rockin' in the Free World, to be clear, was Neil Young's protest song against George H.W. Bush, but that's a whole nother story. It's not about that. Just be happy that our Secretary of State can rock it out.
Yeah.
You know who Trump's Secretary of State was? Rex Tillerson.
I was going to say, Rex Tillerson, who called
him a fucking moron. Can't play guitar to save his life.
Right.
That should be a requisite.
I mean, hey, you would almost expect Rex Tillerson to gas him up, but,
Ha. At least a little oil at the joints,
somewhere. If
All right.
I only had... No,
you came here for Wizard of Oz jokes. you are in the right place. Fucking morons. All right. That brings us to the end of the show.
No, we don't.
No, it doesn't. Oh, wait a minute. Oh.
There is a breaking news.
Breaking
story.
news.
Yes.
At 11:45.
Yeah, none of that. So apparently, this little creature interrupted.
Oh, wow. This is just incredible scenes.
Bringing out the trash cans to try and capture the animal. Well, this is entertainment.
Guy.
Have you ever tried to chase a raccoon?
Fuck no, I've run away from one.
Right.
Shit, those things are gonna
They're
thrash
mean.
me. They're mean as shit. Up. Wow, you.
They're also smart.
Look at this. Look at him. He's like, all right.
It's like, gotcha.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Oh,
No, don't
it's like,
gotcha.
oh, he's out. Oh, they got him this time.
Got him.
If this we don't have the sound on, the crowd is booing when this happens as well too. Like I was transfixed by this. I was literally I saw it on Bleacher Report initially, and it was probably like 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes, and I was sitting there and I was like, "They're gonna get it?"
Who are you rooting for? The guy or the raccoon?
Just terrible jokes around here that I don't want to say. I was obviously I was right for the fucking raccoon.
I'll do it. All right. So famously Rex Barney, who was the PA announcer, who was teammates with Jackie and famous Dodger, was the PA guy at Orioles games all the way back to Memorial Stadium when I was a kid, and he had a few famous catchphrases.
Yeah,
and one of them was, "Give that fan a contract," right? If he caught the ball.
Yes.
You see that raccoon running.
I mean, we need, as they said on the broadcast, there needs to be a heat map because he covered the whole pitch. Like, he was everywhere.
He's a mini.
He wasn't there. He was in the middle. Great midfield.
How's it sending?
Yo, look.
Can we get him on United?
I mean, shit. Unfortunately, he eventually got a...
Former DC United great Wayne Rooney needs, could use some players.
I guess, yeah. I see him as a pundit there on... Where did I see him?
Yeah, I don't know what he's
on
doing.
some
But
weird Gold Zone.
Former player and coach of DC United.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, Evertonian, former Evertonian.
Getting his Griffey Senior on, I guess. Is that?
Give that raccoon a contract.
God gracious.
Yeah. Anyway, pretty good.
It was a good. I found that to be very funny.
Which park was that at?
What the hell's the name
Oh,
of
it
the
was
park?
in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's in Philadelphia.
They have raccoons in Philadelphia?
Very weird. I don't
That's
know.
a mean raccoon, I bet.
I mean,
Surprised
all
he didn't
raccoons-
chuck batteries at that guy.
All fucking raccoons are freaking mean. Leave
Yeah,
them
but do you
alone.
want to meet an Eagles raccoon?
No, not at all.
That's gonna be
So bad.
a whole show. It's gonna scratch you, and then it's gonna burn down your city or whatever.
That is true. Yeah, it's Eagle fans do.
Yeah. All right. You hear that music? Thank you for the breaking news, Brian. We
Yes,
appreciate
thank
that.
you. Very
Which means we've come to the end of the show. We want to say thank you to all of our radio partners, Sesame Street, 321 Contact, and Reading Rainbow, all those guys. Thank you to NOTN for keeping us on for another week, maybe. Don't know.
Maybe.
Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as the upcoming Chip Chat Derby.
Oh, God.
It's this weekend.
It is this weekend.
Match 38.
I mean, Man City.
It matters to you.
It does. Man
Doesn't
City's
matter to us.
Man City is going to get this. It's over.
Yeah, I think you're
West Ham.
you're
is
going to
there?
Europe.
Yeah. That's West Ham is their last game, right? I'm pretty sure.
You need Hammers to win and Spurs to win.
Yeah.
To have any hope. Yeah. But
Actually, the actual correct is West Ham needs to win or draw. If they let's say
We need to win.
If West Ham wins, you need to win regardless.
Yeah,
you
no
guys
matter
pretty
what.
much
We need to
yeah,
win.
Yeah, you can't anything
No
else.
fucking around.
we're gonna wreck that for you. Watch it.
No way in hell.
Bet your Fosters.
Okay. I'll bet your Foster's on that.
Yeah, right.
We won't win the championship this year, but we will win.
You're going to Europe.
Yeah, we're going to continue to stay in Europe.
Oh, is that what you mean?
We were there.
You got kicked out, I thought.
No, we didn't get
Didn't
kicked out.
you lose?
We were in. Well, we lost, but
Yeah, you're out.
We're out
Yeah,
in
you're
this
back
year's, but we're
in.
back in again because top four. We're
So
back.
you're going back.
Now more top four. It's top 2.
Oh, is that
next year?
That's
it'll
a
be top 1.
classification I wasn't aware of.
Yes, it's there.
Didn't exist.
Maybe
You
off
just
air,
invented
can
that.
you explain why the Spurs aren't in anything?
I mean,
Because Harry Kane's not on
yeah,
the team anymore.
and Harry Kane went to friggin' Byron and thrashed
thrashed everybody.
Aston Villa is going. I know Aston Villa.
Villa's in.
Villa's good.
Villa's going to Europe.
Villa's good.
Villa's very good without Grealish.
Yeah,
But it's
Villa's
like
good.
top 4 space,
And
and
then-
then one team's going to Europa.
Well, yeah, one will go to Europa.
The
The
fifth spot-
fifth spot goes to Europa, and then I guess
Oh,
whoever
so
wins,
Spurs going to Europa.
yeah, and whoever wins FA Cup will get a spot, I think, as well too, right?
There's-
which that's the Man City Manchester Man United.
That's a derby.
Yeah,
It's
I think
the
who wins
Manchester
that
derby
one?
It's an FA Cup man
Man
derby.
which is kind of crazy.
Because they already had their actual 2 derbies in Premier League. So it's going to be a
Yeah,
rollicking several months of football.
new kits are out.
Yeah.
New kits
Ours are
out.
still blue.
They're still blue.
That's what we do.
Yeah, ours are.
Yours are. You
red
guys have
and blue.
lots of.
We have all
colors.
types of.
You
freaking
make all
colors.
kinds
It's
of
all
things.
types.
Nobody
Of,
cares.
we have a very one that looks very Wakandish, and it's not nice. I don't like it. At all. It's very bad. It's not good.
Tez Reagan.
I don't like. No.
Out here hating on Wakanda.
Wakanda's not a real fucking place. All right. So that's
You don't
why.
know that. It's just
not
really
a
well
fuck-
hidden.
No, it's
They have technology you've never seen before. Like they can change the map.
Or turn the frogs gay.
Yeah. Maybe they can fix that current problem with the Gulf
our
Stream
Gulf
and
Stream.
shit.
Please.
Put some vibranium in the North
I hope
Atlantic
so.
and just
I hope
keep that
so.
stuff working.
Then have Submariner come in and kick your ass.
Oh,
Lord, oh God. Man.
too far into the MCU that I don't know.
That's a newer movie.
Broken into the nerdverse.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to go. You're listening to Chip Chat. I'm Chip. That says that's Brian. We're not doing social medias
No,
tonight.
fuck
We're outta
social
here.
media.
I hope you enjoy a week promote to use. I don't watch. I hope you enjoy what we promote. ChipChat Radio, and we're your host. I hope you enjoy what we promote.